From the 1990s, there are only a handful of cards that I think people consider to be very mainstream investment pieces. It's just what we would call the dead era of cards, and very few productions really rose to the level of being investment caliber. Luckily, Chipper Jones coming on the scene in the early 90s, and then not only featured in his base issue tops, but they had this really special subset of the Desert Shields, which, according to reports, were only printed to a quantity of 500. So from a very limited production, this is a very important card, which generally shows, all the checks all the boxes, put it that way, of a card which is sufficiently scarce to really drive up the supply-demand ratios, but also depicts what is a top-tier Hall of Famer from the modern era. So delighted to feature this particular example. There will never be enough of these to go around. Chipper Jones is certainly loved, and having been a Brave for his entire career, and just a guy who really represents a very quality brand, well-spoken, cared for, and how he not only played on the field but off the field. And when we're looking at investments, it's the full package that really depicts how desirable a certain player's brand is, and Chipper really checks all the boxes. So a really important card, undervalued. There are not enough of these, and we encourage investors to take a close look. This particular example, really well centered right to left. I mean, that's probably the thing that we notice the most. So it's got this dead center 50-50 right to left. There might be maybe a couple points off top to bottom at most, but overall this is a very nice looking example. You could do far, far worse. Corner wise, edges, surfaces, everything are definitely where they should be. Absolutely crisp and clean. It's really a flawless card, and we expect that given the lofty technical grade, of course, but it's nice to see every attribute checked off. So all told, everything is where it should be. Just a beautiful investment piece from the 90s, and given the rise of a meteoric rise at that level for ultra modern cards, this is definitely a card which seems positioned for dramatic growth. Definitely an interesting candidate for investors wanting to position themselves in this space.